Hello everyone, my name is Feed Alligators and welcome to another video, and today we will be doing something a little bit different than what I normally do. Now normally I stick to just doing Call of Duty videos and just doing class setups and talking about maps and other stuff like that. I also do zombies, but I decided to try my hand at a video essay, and when I mean video essay I mean just a basic topic and talking all about it. Personally, I think I'm going to do more of these. I want to branch out my content a little bit. Mostly because Cold War just is kind of getting boring, and I've been pushing off doing class setups just because I kind of don't want to, and that. But I'm going to do more class setups soon, and also more videos in general, because I've kind of been doing just whatever I wanted to. But I think I'm going to start doing more video essays like this, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War class setups. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the subject, and that is Call of Duty in general. But before we jump into that, make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies content, along with some video essays thrown in there. Now, if I asked you about the Call of Duty series, just the entirety of it in general, and asked you when Activision got super greedy and only cared about money, most people would probably answer that that happened after Black Ops 2 because Ghost sold horribly and there was DLC and other stuff in that. And after Ghost, all the games went downhill from there and went into games that were all about money, whether it be loot boxes or terrible battle passes. And then I guarantee some of you would also mark Modern Warfare as kind of a return to form, since it wasn't as cash grabby as the other ones when it's not pay to win at all. And it gives everyone a fair advantage, and also because it sold extremely well, and because Warzone is completely free, and that was kind of Modern Warfare's thing. But what if I surprised you and told you that Call of Duty was never not greedy? In fact, they have just been kind of made to just make money. Now, that might sound very harsh, and I don't mean all of them. The originals were not bad. Modern Warfare definitely was not a cash grab. It had a lot of work put into it, and it had nothing that had to do with money or anything like that. But in my opinion, everything really after the original Modern Warfare was more so a cash grab than it was a attempt to make a revolutionary game. Let me explain this more. World at War came out. Of course, there were a lot more fans of the series after Modern Warfare's huge success in terms of both being critically acclaimed and selling extremely well. And then World at War comes out, and they just do extremely well. The campaign's reviewed very well. The multiplayer is liked because, well, it's Call of Duty, and it's essentially the same thing as Modern Warfare, except with guns from the 1930s and 40s. But also another thing happens, and that is zombies. Now let me ask you something. Do you think it's really necessary that every single DLC should cost $5 even to this day? And the answer to that, I don't think so, because of the fact that World at War was decently successful, and it sold very well, and clearly there was a demand for zombies, so I think Activision just took that and ran with it, because every single map after, of course, the original Nocturne Totem, I believe, costed $5 each. So if you wanted to pay $15, you could have all the original World at War maps. Now, of course, after this, you just have an explosion of popularity in Call of Duty. That is with Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 is not like its original, and I don't mean that to be in a way that it's like, oh, this one was a massive cash grab. Well, kind of not really was. Of course, they knew it was going to be popular. But this one was more Michael Bay than any of the other games. This one had a ton of explosions, a very, very thrilling story with a lot of big action sequences, and other stuff like that. And let me just put it this way. I know this is going to come off as bad to all the people who like the older Call of Duties, but do they really need to make a new Call of Duty every year? I mean, Battlefield survives perfectly well without having to do that. And if they really wanted to make a better product, why wouldn't they put it in a better development cycle that allows them to make a very, very good game? And the reason for that is money. See, Modern Warfare 2 was massively successful. It did commercially well. Everyone remembers it because it was just a very good game. It had everything for everyone. Although, of course, there were some very overpowered things at launch, it was a decently balanced game. Of course, just like I mentioned, there were DLC map packs. I believe there were 2 of them that costed actual money. And that's another thing. Is it really necessary for the game that is massively successful, like Modern Warfare 2, to have a DLC pack for maps when they clearly could just release it, considering one of the DLC packs had 5 multiplayer maps? I don't see why they couldn't just release it out as an update, but instead, they decided to go the way that they always do and chose money and just release them as DLC. Now we fall into the same thing with Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 has a very, very, I don't want to say outlandish, it has a very, very big and bombastic campaign, same as Modern Warfare 2. It comes out, is extremely successful commercially. A lot of people like it. It's the same as every other Call of Duty, let's be honest, except it takes place in the 60s. And then we also have a returning theme from World at War, and that is going to be zombies. Now, zombies, at launch, it had 2 maps. It has Kino der Toten and 5, or the Pentagon. And then, of course, we have zombie DLC. There are multiple DLCs for this game, all of which cost a decent amount of money, along with returning maps that were remastered for Black Ops 1. Each of them, I believe, costed $5, if I'm correct. And they included the DLC that was Moon, Ascension, the Revival Pack, which has all the original World at War maps. I believe that's what it's called. And also Shinonuma. Now, you may be wondering, like I've said this a lot, but why would a game that sold commercially very well need extra money from map packs when they easily could just release it to newer people? And the reason for that is money. Activision saw the fact they could make more money with the massive success of this game, and so we get into the fact that they will just keep doing this, because a lot of people around this time started realizing, hey, you know, even now, there's still a stigma towards Call of Duty that it's very greedy. It is. But even back then, there was a stigma from Battlefield players and other FPS players that it's like, hey, it's the same game every year. And it really became more of reality later in the Call of Duty series lifetime. But even now, it was starting to take form. And then we fall into the Modern Warfare 3 times. Now this is where Activision's true colors show. Essentially, Modern Warfare 2, it is massively successful. The team over at Infinity Ward were promised a certain amount of money depending on how commercially successful it was. The owner of Activision, who still is the owner of Activision, I believe his name's Bobby, if I'm correct, he doesn't give them the money. So then half of Infinity Ward leaves, and they still have to develop Modern Warfare 3. And that's why many people remember Modern Warfare 3 as being kind of an okay game. Because every single thing from Modern Warfare 2 was recycled. Every single gun had an identical reload to what it had in Modern Warfare 2. All the guns were the same. It literally was a copy and pasted Modern Warfare 2 with a different campaign, or a further down the line campaign because it concluded the trilogy. Now, this is a very big turning point for the Call of Duty series, because now a lot of people realize, hey, Activision really isn't that good of a company. A lot of people had already kind of realized that, but kind of overlooked it because Call of Duty was super, super popular, and also the games were relatively good. But this game was the turning point, and I know a lot of people, or a lot of YouTubers especially, who left the series after Modern Warfare 3, or didn't play Modern Warfare 3, jumped into Black Ops 2, and then dropped off again. Speaking of Black Ops 2, we have Black Ops 2. The game comes out. It is extremely successful. It's remembered by fans as being the best Call of Duty game of all time. It has amazing multiplayer, a very cool setting, and although the zombies is very poor at first, you have more DLC that releases the better maps. And of course, with DLC, we get Die Rise, Buried, Mob of the Dead, and Origins. Now, all these maps, except for, of course, Die Rise, are very, very good. A lot of people really like them and think it kind of saved Black Ops 2 from being remembered as the worst zombies game. But of course, we fall into the same pattern that we did for the other games, where why did Activision need to release DLC when clearly the game was massively successful and they could have released it for free? And that is money. They realized that they could just squeeze a lot more money out of this game if they made Zombies DLC and force people to pay for the maps, especially when initially the reception for Transit and the other maps, or the other launch maps, were very poor. I think they could see the fact that, hey, maybe we should release these maps sooner than later so that people don't leave the game. Now we have Call of Duty Ghost. Call of Duty Ghost was poorly marketed and did not have as high of a budget as the other Call of Duties. So, many people did not buy it, along with the fact that at first it was shown at E3. Of course, not a lot of people were impressed. They were talking about dog models and stuff that really was not important. And it showed a lack of innovation coming into the next generation, because you have to understand it was 2013. We are heading into the PS4 and Xbox One era, and so a lot of fans are expecting something more from Call of Duty, but it's just not there. Call of Duty Ghost technically was not pay to win, but one of the weapons there were two weapons that if you paid, you got it earlier than everyone else, and it was way better than the other guns in the game. And I would kind of call that pay to win, even though a month later everyone could get it. But it still shows that Activision was willing to put money ahead of the consumer and do anti-consumer choices in order to make more money. And so now we get into the era after Ghost, where Ghost is a massive failure, it doesn't do good, and a lot of people leave the series. And now we have Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare did not sell as good because a lot of people had a very poor taste in their mouth from Ghost. And also Advanced Warfare, guess what got introduced? You guessed it, loot boxes. Loot boxes were the hot thing that were around at this time. Essentially, pay money, get a box, and it has a chance to give you most likely a weapon that is better than everything else. And let me put it this way, every single Call of Duty from Advanced Warfare all the way up until Black Ops 4 had loot boxes and had some pay-to-win aspect to them. And the point of this video is to point out that Activision was never a good company. The thing is, you could have said, well, if they were such a greedy company, why didn't they put loot boxes back in the older Call of Duties? And the thing is, because they really didn't exist, they weren't popular. Call of Duty has gone with whatever is popular to make more money. Originally it was paid DLC, then it was loot boxes. After loot boxes, we come into the Modern Warfare and Cold War times, and now we have the Battle Pass system. Well, technically Black Ops 4 had a Battle Pass, but you also had loot boxes in Black Ops 4, so it doesn't really count. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War both have, of course, season passes. Now, this isn't some pro-consumer move to make Activision seem better. It was just shown that you actually make more money through season passes than you do loot boxes, because people actually see what they're getting and they want to buy it more. So now Activision is just moving on to whatever makes more money. Of course, you could say Warzone was just a fluke because, of course, you had free-to-play, but you have to understand the fact that although it was free to play, you also had a season pass in that game which was connected to Modern Warfare, so they were just adding more people to the Modern Warfare franchise. And with that, we will conclude the video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment anything down below, such as what you thought of the video or future video ideas, as I will see you all next time.